All right, let's dive into what you might call the A-list of European destinations for expats: Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. If you're looking for an amazing quality of life, a solid career path, and incredible culture, well, you've definitely come to the right place.
So let's get right to it. The million-dollar question. Which one of these German-speaking powerhouses is the right move for you? That's what we're here to figure out. Think of this as your personal blueprint for making that huge decision.
You know, for a lot of ambitious professionals and students, these three countries are the end goal. They're kind of seen as the final destination after you've already gotten some experience somewhere else in Europe. And why is that? It's simple, really. They offer this incredible mix of stability, opportunity, and a quality of life that is just really tough to beat.
Now, what's really fascinating is just how much this trio has in common. I mean, the shared language is the obvious one, right? But beyond that, they all have world-class healthcare, education, and safety. Their economies are absolute powerhouses, which is why they're such magnets for skilled people. This is the solid ground they're all built on.
Okay, so now for the fun part. They share a lot, but it's the differences that are really going to help you make your choice. So let's put them head to head and look at the stuff that really matters.
The first thing that's going to jump out at you is the cost of living. You can see right away Switzerland is in a completely different league. It is expensive. Germany and Austria, much more moderate, pretty similar to each other actually. But, and this is a huge but, remember that Switzerland's crazy high costs are usually offset by some seriously high salaries. And here is where you really start to see the trade-offs. Think about your career. Germany is this massive market, especially for tech and engineering. Switzerland, on the other hand, has fewer jobs, but they pay the most. Then there's lifestyle. Are you looking for big international cities? That's Germany. The historic, cultural charm? That's Austria. Or are you an outdoors person who wants to be in the mountains every weekend? Hello, Switzerland. And finally, bureaucracy. Germany and Austria are in the EU, so the rules are pretty standard, though still strict. Switzerland is not, and its permit process has a reputation for being a bit tougher.
Now, after hearing about bureaucracy, you might be feeling a little intimidated. And yeah, let's be real, the process for any of these countries is demanding. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of patience. But I want you to really hear this key takeaway. It is 100% achievable. This isn't some impossible dream. It's a goal you can actually reach.
So, to make all this feel a little less abstract, let's zoom in and use Austria as our example. The exact rules are going to be different for each country, of course, but this will give you a really clear idea of the kind of detail and planning you'll need, no matter which one you choose.
So there are a few different ways to get residency, but as you can see, some paths are way more common than others. Work permits, like the red-white-red card for skilled workers, are the biggest slice of the pie. Right behind that are permits for students and families. So your personal situation decides your route, but it's pretty clear that skilled jobs and education are the main gateways. Okay, the paperwork. No matter which path you take, it is serious business. You'll need all the basics, like your passport and the forms, but also proof of where you're going to live, that you have health insurance, and that you have enough money to support yourself. And hey, notice that German language certificate on the list? It's often required right from the get-go. Hot tip, start gathering all this stuff way earlier than you think you need to.
The process itself really breaks down into three key steps. First, you submit everything at the Austrian embassy back in your home country. Second, you play the waiting game. Processing can take anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks, so be prepared for that. And step 3 is so important. Once you get there, you have exactly 3 days to register your local address. Seriously, do not miss that deadline.
You know, getting the visa is just the first hurdle. That gets you in the door. But long-term success, actually building a life there, that's about something much deeper. And that brings us to integration.
The source material really nails it with this simple line: Austria values integration. That might sound obvious, but it's a fundamental part of the system. It means that showing you're committed to being part of the society isn't just a nice thing to do, it's often a requirement.
So how do you actually show that commitment? Well, it starts with getting those basic A1 or A2 German skills for your first permit. But don't stop there. Plan on getting to a higher level for when you need to renew your residency. Taking integration courses is also a fantastic way to learn the ropes. But honestly, the single biggest advantage you can give yourself, learn some German before you even get on the plane. It is a total game changer.
All right, we've talked about what to do and how to do it. Now let's talk about what not to do. Based on the mistakes a lot of people make, here are the major pitfalls you'll want to sidestep to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible.
First up,
don't send in an incomplete application. Double, triple check everything. Second, don't get tripped up by the timeline. Really plan for that 6 to 12-week wait. Third, and I can't say this enough, do not ignore the language requirements. They are not a suggestion. And finally, this one's for non-EU citizens. Don't just assume the rules are the same for you. They're not. They're stricter.
So, to bring it all home, let's circle back to where we started. Is moving to Germany, Austria, or Switzerland a challenge? Yes, absolutely. There's no sugarcoating it. But the reward for all that effort is a level of stability, opportunity, and an incredible quality of life that is just exceptional.
And that brings us to this final thought. Achievable. I love this word because it just perfectly sums up this whole journey. It's not about being easy. It's about being possible. With the right amount of effort, with good planning, and with your own persistence, this goal can absolutely be reached.
So there you have it. We've laid out the comparisons, the process, the things to avoid. The blueprint is officially in your hands. The only real question left is the one only you can answer. What's your first step?